Hello and welcome back to part 3 of Zelda II: The Adventure of Link. This part I'm going to be going through Death Mountain, which is arguably one of the most difficult parts of the entire game. There's a lot of difficult enemies here, and it's just constant bombardment of cave after cave full of enemies. And Link is still pretty low level, not that high of health, not much magic, not much damage on the sword, so it can be very difficult if you don't know what you're doing. Basically what you want to do when you're going through Death Mountain is always head right. If you have an option of multiple caves, always go right. So here, just fighting some stuff. Here's some Octoroks again. Here's some Gorias. Always be blocking the boomerang. This part can be kind of annoying. You have to gently drop down, as if you were a graceful ballerina or something. Just gotta be gentle here and not hit those Octoroks when you're falling. Alright, there's some aches and some bots here. Slap them with your sword. They don't give that much experience, so that kind of sucks, but oh well, at least they're not that hard to kill. Some elevators in these caves, and this enemy here is brutal. It's a Daira, and they're very aggressive. They'll just come out swinging their axe at you like a madman, and you kind of want to match their aggressive style. You just want to charge at them and hit them, and kind of time yourself so you don't get hit by the axe. That's the best way I've found. Here's some Bogos on this bridge. Can be a pain. Just be sure to block. Turn around to block if you have to. That bot almost got me. Here's a red Daira. These suck because they actually throw the axes at you and you gotta jump over them. I'm making it look easy, but it's actually pretty hard if you're not used to it. But they do give a ton of experience. As you see there, I got 100 for killing him. So at least the effort is worth it. This guy's kind of annoying. It's kind of hard to close the distance on him, but not too bad. Here's another Daira, and as you can see, they just charge forward swinging their axe. They're crazy, man. They're supposed to be alligator-style creatures, according to the manual, but they don't really look like gators to me. They look more like bulldogs or something. Some bits here. This Daira sucks because it's very hard, very awkward angle. You kind of want to run in there and crouch stab right when he has his axe at the front, so when you get there, his axe is backwards, if that makes sense. This one left me a points bag worth 200, so that's good. Hopefully you're getting lucky with the experience as well. Alright, almost out here. Some bots to go through. Another Daira. Another one of these awkward ledge Dairas. I hate these. Just have to be patient. That guy actually jumped up to try and get me. That was weird. There's a magic jar if you've been using your spells or anything like that. There's another red Daira. Use your shield spell if you have to, because I mean they do a lot of damage if they do hit you. And up there's a red ache, and they actually transform into little demons if they hit the ground. There you go, you can see there. And they'll shoot a fireball at you. So they're a little bit more difficult than the just regular blue aches. You'll remember Death Mountain from the first Zelda game, and it wasn't nearly as much of a pain as it is here in this game. Although it was quite difficult as the last stage in that game. You didn't have to go all the way here to the right like I did. The only reason I came right was to get some extra experience. I mean, those Octoroks are very easy to kill, and they give 10 experience each, so I went there just for the experience. That little thing on the ground is called a Mew. We can't kill it yet. We need a sword ability called the downward thrust. So right now, just ignore them. Just kill the Daira. And I'm almost next level on my sword, so that's good. Have a level 5 sword and should only take about 3 hits to kill the red Dyra. And again, you didn't need to come left here, but there was that points bag and just those extra enemies for more experience. So if you wanted to head left here like I did, that's more experience, so that's good. But theoretically, where you want to go is right, past this Dyra here. And that will get you towards the hammer, which was mentioned by one of the old ladies in one of the towns. She mentioned that Death Mountain has the hammer. And here you want to wait for this Mew to just jump off. Apparently he was very sad with his life and just decided to jump into the lava. So wait for him to write his little suicide note and jump to his death, and then you can jump across safely. Here, finally leveled up my sword, level 5, so I should be doing a ton more damage now, which is good. Make things go by faster. As you can see, it only takes 3 hits for me to kill these red Dyra now, so that's very good. And here is the hammer, and it will allow you to destroy roadblocks, giant boulders that you see in the overworld. You can just wreck them with this hammer, and move to inaccessible areas. Or at least previously inaccessible. There's that Mew again. Apparently his life sucks so bad that he has to kill himself twice in one game. So there he went, down into the lava, and then you can safely jump across. And now we can make our way back outside, because we are done here in Death Mountain. Some red eggs here. It's best to kill them before they reach the ground so that they don't shoot out that little fireball at you. So now you can destroy the boulder with a hammer, and here's a secret screen that just shoots you down here and gets you another magic container, so we now have more magic, which is always good, especially if you use a lot of the shield spell to help you out. It's good stuff. Now there's a few more secret things we can get before going to the next town, so that's what I'm going to be doing next. Be patient when jumping here. These Octoroks are dying to knock you into the lava. You don't want to do that, obviously. So just be patient. And kill these guys, get the experience. Alright, so we are done with Death Mountain, thankfully. And here's another side-scrolling screen that is inevitable. Some moblin here. You just want to make your way across. Unlike a lot of the enemies, you can actually hit these guys with the beam of your sword and they'll die. You don't actually have to hit them with the physical part of your sword. So that makes things a little easier. And right here there are bubbles, so you want to be careful. You don't want to get knocked by the bubbles. And this might be a very difficult fight. You gotta fight a red Dyra with the bubbles. I got lucky here. There weren't that many bubbles popping up when I was fighting him, but it can be tough if you get unlucky. There's a secret screen right here, and it gives you a Link doll. This is the second one we've collected. And again, this is just like an extra life. There's another new enemy here. It's called a Geldarm, and it kind of looks like those enemies from the Super Mario series that you see in the desert. So I wonder if there's any inspiration connection there. You can destroy this block here with a hammer again, and continue westward. And if you come to this little forest here, there's a secret fairy in case you're low on health. It will restore your health. So I'm headed into the swamp for a secret item. But here's a new enemy. This bird-like creature is called a Moby, and they just kind of drop down and then fly towards you. They're very easy to kill, but unfortunately they only give you 2 experience points. It's not very good, but what are you gonna do? And like I mentioned earlier, you can actually jump on these swamp screens and it makes you move faster. But if you can destroy this block here and head into this cave, there's an item that we need from here to complete the game. So you want to slowly make your way across this bridge. There's these Bagu Bagus here. All this stuff, you just gotta kill everything and make your way through. I think there's 3 diaries here in this screen. That was number 1. Here's a second one. It's a red one. Always jump over the axes. You can't duck those, so you gotta jump over them. And here's a third one. But once you kill all of them, you can get this over here. This is the Water of Life. We are headed to another town. We are headed towards the harbor town of Mito. And there's an old lady there whose daughter is sick and needs this Water of Life. So that's why we came all the way over here to grab this. And next we are headed to the water town of Mito. And you'll notice that Mito was not a sage in Ocarina of Time, unlike most of the towns in this game that are named after sages. Mito is actually the leader of the Kokiris in Ocarina of Time, and he kind of bullies Link a lot. And he even at one point says that he'll never accept Link as one of the Kokiri. And in some truth of the matter, he was right, because Link is not a Kokiri. But if you're a crazy theorist and all that, you'll say that maybe Mito was a sage. Even though he officially wasn't, but, you know, if you're into all those game conspiracy theories and all that, you can argue. So the harbor town is all the way east, so that's why I'm headed that way. And as the name implies, it's right on the harbor here. Here's another hip old lady trying to be cool with the youngs. That lady just says hello. At least she's friendly. At least she's not like the other ones that say she doesn't know anything. Here's the healing lady of this town. If you're low on health, you can talk to her, restore your health. And this one says, no one is here, but a church bell will ring. And this gives you a hint on the next part of this town. I'll show you what that means momentarily. But first, if you talk to this guy, he's going to say, ask Error of RUTO about the palace. And we've already met Error, one of the most iconic Legend of Zelda figures, so we can talk to him again and he'll give us a hint about one of the palaces. We'll do that later in another video. If you talk to this little pipsqueak, he'll say that the Island Palace is in the south and it has the raft, so that's the secret item of that palace. It's another hip old lady, but this is that church bell that that young girl was talking about, and if you come over here, she says that the church bell rings even though there's no one here. There's actually the ghost of a fallen warrior here. And there he is. So he's haunting this church, ringing the bell, and he teaches you a sword technique. He teaches you the downward thrust, so now if you jump and press downward, you can stab. And this is a very useful technique to kill some enemies, and very useful for farming bubbles. If you remember Bubble from the first palace, you can destroy them pretty easily using the downward thrust and just farm a lot of experience points that way. I'll show you that when we get to the next palace. But there's a few more people you can talk to here in this town. This old hag will restore your magic if you go inside her house. For some reason I didn't do it here, even though I was only half full on my magic. But whatever. And here's the old lady with a sick daughter. And she's excited to see that you have the Water of Life. So she says, quickly come with me, and you can go in there and learn the next ability. You can talk to the wise old man of this town. So he says, this magic word will give you power. And this is the the fairy spell. If you use this spell, you turn into a fairy, and you can kind of fly around the screen until you change into the next screen. It allows you to go over certain obstacles and over very high ledges that you can't even get over with a jump spell. So you'll see that come into use later on in some of the other videos. And that is pretty much it for this town, so thanks for watching and join me next time.